Dearest co-minister, might I have permission to go off script a little? Thank you. So I just want to point out, I know it's in the program, in the order of service, but that piece is another installment of our own Tom Parenti writing in partnership with an English poet named Deborah Gould, and we're going to be hearing more. And I just want to thank you all so much for that great execution. And it's just remarkable that this is part of who we are today. And please tell Tom thanks when you see him. And I also want to take another point of privilege and permission to just say thank you to this community for showing up in such large numbers at the Martin Luther King Day service last Monday at St. Paul's. There were, by some counts, 70 of us there, 54 in the pews and choir and staff. And that is an amazing embodied turnout to show your values in action to our community. And so really thank you. And so we're all here to talk at length about the details of the strategic plan. But I want to start with the title. Tomorrow began yesterday. And we shared a reading from someone who has much to teach us about tomorrow and about time, Paul Tillich. He was a German-born Protestant theologian. He taught at Union Seminary in New York from 1933 through 1955. And the reason he was at Union was because he was fleeing a Nazi purge of liberal intellectuals. Tillich famously taught that religious language and symbols must be reconsidered in every generation because words especially acquire baggage and they begin losing their potency. Tillich claims this is why since the late 1860s, so many theologians began wrestling with new definitions of what God is and God is not. And why many began claiming theology was about so much more than pondering if there was a God at all, and if so, what might God be? Tillich's term for this was ultimate concern. And he followed in the footsteps of many theologians when he claims that God is not necessarily a person. That's a human projection because we are persons. But he said instead God is some other mysterious force. And part of that reckoning included exploring what is eternal. Because so many people claim the eternity of the divine. So what is eternal? And how does the eternal differ from what we call time, that linear flow of days as we experience them? And Tillich responds with the eternal now, claiming it is the future that awakens us to the mystery of time. We experience time running from the beginning to the end, but our awareness of time goes in the opposite direction. It starts with the anxious anticipation of the end because we know that we will have an end, at least in this form. So in the light of the future, it is that we see the past and the present. So where do we come from? And where should we go? In your gray hymnal, there is a section for our hymnal index for Tillich's The Eternal Now. You can find its index for the readings on page 643. The Eternal Now, it reminds us that the baggage and the sweetness of all the past and the potential and danger of all the future, they live in what we are experiencing in any specific moment we call now. And this is not a simple mind game or wordplay. It's a tool the eternal now, to help us remember that every moment we call the present is a gift, and it contains the challenge of shaping our world and our future, and the reminder to honor our past. This is why that image of the Akeru helps us in this quest. When we imagine the past and the future as aggressively guarding and upholding the present, we're led to ask these questions. What from our past can withstand the heat of holding the present steady? What hoped-for future will have the backbone to get us through the trials of today? Likewise, Sankofa reminds us we must sit at the feet of our elders. We must be students of our own past. Honoring the ancestor means opening our hands and our ears and our hearts to receive those seeds of remembrance. Our attention and integrity are what help us discern what fruits from that seed of remembrance will feed us today and help us build better tomorrows, and which seeds are lovely, but perhaps no longer useful. And then the Roman god Janus reminds us that some gateways are more important than others. Every moment in how we perceive this march of days is not equal. Some moments, some decisions are more significant than others. And the decisions that we make at these milestones, they set up not only our personal future, but they might set up the future of the whole world. What are we putting into power? What are we saying is okay to be in our world? Those moments of decision are more important than others. This is why it's so important to know, whether as an individual or as an institution, what our mission and vision are. In congregational life, every few years we go through this process. We reimagine why we exist, our mission, and where we hope to go, our vision. We call this process, at least here, strategic planning. Now stay with me, I know this is dry. Strategic planning is our congregation's Janus, Sankofa, and Akeru. And right now we have a team engaging us to define just what the mission of our congregation is and where we might go as we live into that mission. Looking backwards to see from whence we came and the beauty of that ancient promise. And looking forward to see how we might travel together as a covenanted community of faith and service, living into a mission that is worthy of our sincere devotion and the holy as we understand it within. Upholding the present and taking a clear-eyed gaze at the people, programs, promises contained in our hearts right now are dreams of what we might become in the fierce urgency of now. This is deeply applicable to our personal lives as it is in community. Well, maybe this is best shared by a story. Never mind.
I thought you'd never ask. But I did turn my microphone on just in case. You ever heard the phrase, there are no spectators here? No spectators?
Yes.
So George Gurdjieff, the Armenian mystic and philosopher and teacher, he would use that phrase every time a group gathered in his apartment. He would have over about 50 people at a time in a one-bedroom apartment. I think he was trying to make sure that someone would stay and do the dishes. He said, there are no spectators here. We are all in this together. We're all a part of this. I lived in a cooperative house one time in Chicago when I was going to the theological seminary there, Meadville Lombard, and I was pretty sure that the motto of that place was, we are all spectators. cooperative. We did an okay job with that, in the sense that pretty much everyone paid rent. We all did our particular chores, and we turned up our phones, and we cared for one another when we needed care. We did that pretty well. We even cooked meals for all the other people in the house once a month, which actually worked. We all learned how to feed 23 people with one meal. It worked well, except when Ivan, the exchange student from Russia, who was a young man who I believe had never set foot in the kitchen before coming to this home, cooked for us because he put ginger and dill in everything, which worked out sometimes, but was absolutely horrendous in mashed potatoes. But we ate them anyway because we loved Ivan. So being cooperative worked in many ways, except what was difficult was seeing the whole picture. We could all see our particular piece of it. We kept our own rooms okay. We even did our chores. So someone would dust, but they wouldn't notice that what they were dusting was falling down. Someone would sweep the floors, but they might not notice that there were 17 pairs of shoes that had been sitting there for 4 weeks. Someone would clean the kitchen, but not notice that all the things in the cabinets were so disorganized, which really drives me crazy. Can you tell? A little bit of our secret life coming out here. They wouldn't notice that if they didn't organize them, there would be nothing to clean after all. So being the person I am, I started doing all of these holistic tasks, the things to hold the whole home together. And I ran myself ragged, as you would imagine. And for some reason, no one really started doing this with me. I guess they all knew they had me to do it. So in that way, we weren't being such a cooperative home. But then one night after dinner, and thank goodness it wasn't Ivan who cooked because everyone was happy. After dinner, I began telling a story. I told the story of our attic. Have you seen your own house? This was 25 times worse. It looked sort of like our storage container when we were waiting to move into our home. This attic was full of things that I think had been there for the 35 years of this home, just piling up, everything broken and old and just left behind. So I was telling the story of this attic, but what I did is I said, there are treasures up there. Really wonderful, amazing things, and you have to come see them. So I got everyone up into the attic. And then, thank goodness, after they noticed that these weren't really treasures, the person who right now would be on our strategic planning team, if they were here, said, hey, you know what? I know how we can get rid of all these things. There are 23 of us. What if we formed a line all the way from the attic to the outside? We could be a conveyor to remove all this junk from the attic together. And then the amazing thing happened. This was the miracle of the story. The next day was the pickup day for bulky trash. So we formed a conveyor and we passed all these horrendous things, one person to one person, a conveyor of human hands. And we got rid of all of it, and it was the most amazing thing that I had ever seen. But the best thing about it was that I wasn't the only one happy. We were all enjoying this. There was something powerful and beautiful about being in a task together. We were upholding our home. We were taking care of our future. We were taking care of the people who would come later and be so very grateful that they didn't have that mess to clean up. That's where the awe came in. Really beautiful and inspiring. A gift for the whole.
Bucket Brigade. Awesome. One person doth not a cooperative house make. So there's no passengers on Spaceship Earth. We're all crew. There are no spectators here. And so here we are in this time of making big decisions about what we will do, how we will do it, and with whom. And it can seem scary, making all these big plans, and even tedious, but it's in these moments that we turn to the words of folks like the poet Audre Lorde, who shares, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." Together we decide what is most important. Our mission provides guardrails and focus. Our vision keeps us aware of the prize upon which we set our eyes. So I'm going to invite you now to a little tale. Come with me. Follow the west-facing line to a time of power and possibility in our past, to a special place, west of the Hudson River and east of Verona, a place called Montclair, where the Unitarian Universalist congregation was founded in 1897. Back then it was called Unity Church. This little sign above 363 is a vestige of that time. It says Unity. Our spiritual forebears, they wrote their bylaws on the porch of Mrs. Angle's house at 20 Clinton Avenue, about 3 blocks away. Their first annual meeting was held at 491 Bloomfield Avenue, the Bank of Montclair. Hey, where are people from our finance team? I think we might have left a few documents behind in that bank vault during that first annual meeting. This congregation was founded by women seeking to provide a robust liberal education for their children because there was a wave of fundamentalist Christianity sweeping our country. Eventually the menfolk came around. In this facility, we once held sought-after theater programming. It was called Broadway and the Burbs in the 20s and 30s. Today, there are many small regional theaters around, so the need for that is not as great, but that is a seed of remembrance. Before Montclair had many civic and arts venues, we served some of those functions here. Unity concerts, they brought top-level performers for jazz and show tunes and classical music here. But of course, today we have the Wellmont Theater and other venues. There was the collegiate pulpit that brought leading intellectuals like Langston Hughes and W.E.B. Du Bois and A. Philip Randolph. But that was before Montclair State University and before YouTube and TED Talks, right? And today, public intellectuals of that caliber, they appear at larger venues. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson was just at New Jersey Performing Arts Center, seats 3,500. We housed Montclair's first movie house. That is no longer in need of our community. We had a cooperative grocery and a butcher shop. I think there's plenty of them around today. It's a seed of remembrance. But then there was the Unity Forum. This was begun in 1910. And this was a place that provided a place for the public to engage the big issues of their day. And this is a legacy we continue because there are fewer venues specializing in that. We don't always call it the Unity Forum, the Undoing Racism Brunch, a lot of our special events, bringing communities together for coalition building. And just listen to the topics that they spoke about back then, 100 years ago. Race, immigration, peace, voting rights, affordable housing. I don't think we've solved all these yet. I think there's still a need for them. What to leave, what to bring forward. Our future and our past merge in what Paul Tillich calls the eternal now. We toil to define what our past offers and what it means to us, what our present contains, and what our future might promise. So here's a little something for your lunch boxes, something to take home. Let us cultivate a community where ancient wisdom is honored. Let us not assume that everything new is better. Let us never claim that we have taken the wisdom walk when all we might have done is glanced over the shoulder of a neophyte, caught a tweet, or perhaps posed a question to Lord Google. May we love the beauty of our past, even if its particular gems won't necessarily serve us today or tomorrow. Because together, we can serve a glorious, golden future. A future that praises love wherein all goodness lies. A future that hails the love that lights the nighttime skies. The love who comforts our goodbyes. A future that praises the truth whom greed cannot overcome. That praises truth from where all goodness comes. And honors the wisdom jewels of our past, our personal ones and institutional ones. And of course, we will experience error and anguish along the way. But when our energy is focused on what is most true, most needed, and most worthy of our best, we can serve a mission that will help build justice and create a vibrant community worthy of our most sincere devotion. So may it be.